You're such a failure. But that's a good thing. I hear this a lot from clients, friends, myself, family, my kids. The idea that we have to be perfect all the time, the idea that we can't mess up or learn from our mess ups, and that somehow that puts a mark on our identity, that somehow we become known as our failure or what we produce or don't produce. And I see that fear in a lot of people, and so it leads people to go, man, I feel empty. And I'm like, well, what's going on? They're like, well, I want to do this, but I'm worried about what's going to happen if I try it. And I see that, and I'm like, man, you're missing out on a lot of life because you have this fear of what would happen if I try this and don't succeed, which really leads to the question, what's worse, trying something and failing, or not doing something and never learning that could bring joy to your life? And so I'll sit and talk to clients sometimes, and what we discover is that there's this biased opinion that we have that if I don't do this, I'm never going to be better. I'm not going to be good enough. But the reality is, I think that in everything we've ever experienced that we enjoy a lot in life, we've had to try it first and fail, and then move to success. That we learn in that failure, that something happens there where we go, yeah, that was okay. That everything that we've ever experienced in life, some of my favorite things that I've experienced in life required some massive failure on the front of it. I think about all of the sports that I like to play. I like to ski, and I remember one of the first times I got into a half pipe and I yard sailed it, and I mean, it was bad. I remember the first time I snowboarded, I got a concussion. The first time I went downhill mountain biking, I wiped out and just went right over the front of the handlebars. And the reality is that sometimes, we need a little bit of pain to grow. We need a little bit of failure to learn. And that is a part of the process. And that really, if we want to look at failure, it's really like true failure is not even trying. And so when we think about that, how can I view success in my life? Because I think that's where a lot of people get to, is they go, I want people to look at me and go, oh wow, you're doing it right, or they have a perspective or an opinion of who I am, and we get caught up on that. But really, the reality is who do you think you are? And if we can get to the point where we go, failure is just part of the process. I'm going to try this, and if I fail, that's fine. I'll learn from it. I'll get back up and I'll try again. And I'll fall and I'll get back up and I'll try again. And I'll fall and I'll get back up and I'll try again. Because that's what produces success. And many people will sit there and allow themselves to think things that they think other people are thinking about them, that they then identify in themselves and go, you know what, I'm just a failure. I can't do that. Or if I do that and I don't, meet the mark on the first try, then I'm not good enough. But the reality is none of us ever are. None of us are perfect. None of us are going to get there. And we have to fail in order to move forward. It's a part of the human experience. And so the reason I say that is what we need to do is look at things. If you're sitting there and you're beat up because you go, man, I just can't do this. I'm too scared to do this. And I'm worried about what happens if I can't do this right the very first time. Go fail. Go do it and expect failure and be excited when it does, because that's a learning experience. And then you get to try again. And the reality is, you're never going to experience truly what you can become until you get out there and go, you know what? This involves risk and it's worth doing. And I'm willing to pay the price of that risk when failure does happen, inevitably. Because what's on the other side of it is maybe some life that you get to experience for the first time, but you wouldn't have been able to experience had you not said, I'm willing to fail in order to get here. And so for those of you who are sitting there struggling and you're going, I don't know what to do, fail. You're a failure, and that's good. We all are. And so I want to encourage you today to just go, yes, I'm a failure. And that's a good thing, because imagine what happens when you go, you know what? Everybody does. We're not humans if we don't fail. Like, we're superheroes in it. Like, that's what we are. We're humans and we fail. And that's a good thing. Because imagine what would happen if you do go, you know what? I'm going to try that. I'm going to see what that's like. And you start to experience life for the first time instead of worrying about what everyone else thinks around you. What happens if you just go, you know what? I owe this to myself. I want to experience that, and I know it's going to cost me failure on the front end. But later on, what I'm going to discover is joy. I'm going to discover life. I'm going to have an experience that I enjoy. And so today, I just want to encourage you, go be a failure.